What is up and welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be working on Project Daily, the engine bay. So we're not going to be working on the motor because, again, I'm still waiting on parts from Subaru. So we're waiting on those fuel lines that we ordered a couple episodes ago. Once those come in, we can put in the manifold and then essentially button that all up. There's not much left to do on the engine, which is good, and we're going along nicely. Anyways, it's time to get the engine bay ready, so that's going to be today's episode, or well, the next couple days. So this is going to be one of those two-parter videos where we have the video recording on multiple days just because of the nature of what we're working on. So some of the stuff we'll be doing is, of course, taking off all this plastic, which that won't take long, but this is the thing where our main focus right now. And so this we're using some of the body filler that you get, like 3M stuff. That's the glaze, but this body filler here to fill in that spot. So you know, with body work, it takes forever just making sure that everything's dry before you sand and all that fun stuff. And then we'll be coating it with some of this glazing and spot putty, and then eventually spraying it with our custom-made paint that we were using before. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So as you guys saw in a couple videos ago, I grinded this down. So we want it to be exactly level, and I don't think it is right now. So I think I'm just going to take the angle grinder to it just a little bit more, level it out, and then we'll be ready to work on smoothing it out, leveling this guy, because I don't know what really went on here. So there's actually two plates in here, same with this mounting hole, but I don't know what happened to this guy, so we're just gonna roll with it and fix it up as needed. So I'll get the angle grinder out and smoothen this out, and then we'll start to work with the body filler and flattening that right out to match the original shape. Angle grinder, radiator mount. So what we're going to do is, as I said, smoothen this guy out just enough so that we can get body filler and make it look all pretty. So there we go. It is all smoothened out with the angle grinder. I also took the wire wheel and just cleaned up all these little spots. So you're supposed to just leave a little bit around where you're actually using the filler so you can sand it out. So you're going to leave a little bit on the edges, as I did. This one goes a little bit farther. And then sand it with 80 grit sandpaper. The next thing I got to do is I got to just wipe it down with some lacquer thinner, and then we've got to use this actual filler. So for the filler, we sand it, clean it, did that. And then we it comes with a little bit of hardener for it, so you just mix it on like a little piece of cardboard or whatever, and then you'll smoothen that out on the surfaces, and then you just lay it on there 3 or 4 minutes, blah blah blah, and then you can sand with 180 or finer just to smoothen it out. It actually doesn't say how long. Oh, allow it to cure for 20 to 30 minutes, so that's what it's going to do. So I'm going to apply the first layer, let it cure. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be removing all the plastic and stuff and cleaning up the engine bay just a little bit more, and then we'll probably sand it down once, and then that will be it for this part of the video. Then tomorrow I will come back and continue smoothing it out, sanding it, and then applying some glazing putty and smoothing it out. So that's pretty much it, and then eventually, you know, we gotta paint it, but that will be after we apply the glazing putty, which you'll see in a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, as I said, is wipe this guy down, and then we'll mix up the stuff and apply it. Now it's time to mix the body filler. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, it says take about a golf ball size of the filler to like a 3 centimeter strip of hardener. So it's a very low ratio, so there won't be too much. So go like this. Oh, you also should be needing this. I already have, so it's all good. But there we go. And then take some of the filler. So this is actually smaller than they said, so I'm going to do even a smaller strip. There we go. That's probably not the best ratio, but that's going to work. Now we're going to mix it and then apply it. And that should be the color of it. So next we're going to put it on the car. And we want to apply constant pressure when we're applying it to make sure it has the maximum stickiness, I guess you'd say. So there we go, the first time ever using body filler. As you can tell, it's probably not the best, but I figured out it does harden right around the 3-minute mark, and anything past that, you're essentially scraping it off. So that's got to sit for now 20 minutes, and then we're going to sand it out and smoothen it out so that it matches the rest of this. Well, that is drying, so we can sand it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start to take off all the plastic and stuff on the engine bay and clean that up. So when I get back, we'll have this all cleaned up, and then we'll start sanding this and shaping it with I don't know if that, I guess that'd be the radiator mount. It's not really a chassis or structural piece, it's just holding up the AC and rad, so that's about all it is. It's been 20 minutes, so we're going to take some 400 grit now and just start to smoothen this down and see where it goes. So I'm going to grab some of that and start sanding. So I have no idea how this is going to come out, but we're going to sand, and I will catch up to you guys once we actually get somewhere with this. Check it out, guys. Look at it. It's almost level. I actually have a straight edge here, and if we put it up against it, it looks almost level. There's a little bit on where my thumb is right now that could be smoothened out, but it is looking pretty good. So I actually ended up sanding using 150 grit, but there is some spots where it didn't actually like get all the way right here. But as you can tell, it looks so much better than it did before. And actually, if you feel it, it looks and feels pretty smooth. So like a little bit here needs to be sanded still, and a little bit here, but look at all this dust this is creating. So I have the vacuum, and I'm going to vacuum this guy up. When that was drying, I worked on cleaning it up, so we got all the bags out. So you can see the nice blend between the black subframe and the white, or not white, blue frame rails. So that all looks good. Now there's dust over here, but there's a couple other places I need to clean up. I need to get all the dust off of those, but we'll do that continuing on this episode. But what we got to do now is put another layer of the body filler because there's some spots missing. I'm going to do a little less and then just press on it, but that's going to dry overnight because by the time it dries, it's going to be too late to work on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to lace some down. You guys know how I did that. And then I'll see you guys essentially tomorrow, but in like 30 seconds with some movie magic. And there we go. So we have the second coat. It's all sanded down. It's all wiped down. Look at how smooth that guy is. It's like a little bit of a raise as far as I can tell, but like not too much. You're not really going to notice because this thing's so whack. Anyways, it really doesn't matter that much. So now it's essentially time to get it ready to paint. So to paint, actually what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting on some glazing and spot putty just to make sure that is 100% ready to go. So what I'm going to do is just lay this on. I believe you just lay it on and then sand it with 330 to 400 grit sandpaper, and then you just kind of apply it and then paint over it, or prime then paint over it. So yeah, just clean the dust, you know, the proper painting procedure, clean dust. And then just thin coats of using a plastic spreader. It's kind of the same thing we were doing, just way thinner coats than this. And then you just sand it using your 320 or 400 grit. And then essentially all it is let it dry and then sand with fine grit again. And then you just paint it after that. So not too much left to do, guys. But I'm worried about how we're going to be able to make these corners blend with this because we're painting from here to here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to be very gentle with the blend and go from there. Also, I cleaned this guy up. There's no more grease on it, but it's silver. So we might just do a little black rattle can. That's not too much work. So I'm going to tape off, I think, put some cardboard behind here while we're putting this stuff on. So once this is on and it's all set up, I'll catch up to you guys then. There we go. So everything has now been dried. So this is dry enough to sand now. It's the same as the filler itself. It's only 15-20 minutes, depending on how your coating is, but I know this coating wasn't too bad, so that's not that big of a worry. As you've seen or saw, we have everything covered up now. So this is the area we'll be painting. This is going to be the difficult part to blend in between here, but we'll give it a go. I don't have too much paint left, so hopefully it should be able to cover all that. If not, I can always go grab some more, but I think we should be good because this is already blue, so we're not completely changing color. And then I just have to sand this whole thing down with some like 300 grit sandpaper just so we can get it so the paint sticks, but I'll also be sanding down this. So there we go. So everything's been sanded down. This whole bar has been sanded down with 320. And also, as you can tell, I smoothed this out a little bit more. As you see, some of the glazing putty is gone, but honestly, I'm not too picky because, well, this is not a very good piece from stock. And if I was to make this 100% perfect, which I probably do sometime down the road when this whole engine bay becomes full race car and it's tubbed and stuff, is I would actually fill these in and smooth them out. But just because at stock there got these dimples, I'm not going to fix them because, well, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of different rivets here. So we're just going to leave that. And then this has been sanded and it's all been wiped down, so it's just, I'm just letting the water evaporate. So I usually wipe stuff down with lacquer thinner, but because this stuff can be cleaned off with lacquer thinner, I don't want to wipe it with it. So what I'm doing is I just gave it wipe with water because this stuff's good with water. And now I'm just going to let it sit for a minute and then we'll do the color change. So painting the color is going to be about the same as it usually is. One nice light coat just to get everything covered, and then go in and kind of blend it together with our corners and just making sure it's one solid uniform color. So we'll do that as soon as this dries. So I'm going to let it dry and then we'll go ahead and paint it. So here we go. There we go, check that out. So you see in the time lapse, it wasn't that bad actually. It took quite a few, it took actually 3 coats in this area just to cover up where that glaze was and stuff. But if you look, it looks pretty good. There's all these scratches and stuff like that we didn't sand out because, well, I'm not too picky. As I said, I just wanted to make it blue because before we had the AC sticker here and a rust patch underneath. So looks a lot better now. So I just let it sit for a little bit and it's time to pull off the cardboard and probably have to do a little bit of blending. I've got a tiny bit more in my actual spray can, like tiny bit. If you hear it, pretty much empty, but we're gonna use that. And I guess I'll pick up another spray can when I do the rear wing, under the wing, because you guys know the paint's peeling from there. So I'll probably grab one eventually, but right now we'll take this off and see how much blending, quote unquote, we need. So the problem with clearing this is nothing else is cleared. So it's gonna look real funny, so we're not gonna clear it. Just because if that's clear, then essentially you gotta take off the fenders and clear the whole upper half of the engine bay, and we're not gonna do that this time around. And there we go. So I actually went ahead and blended them myself. All I did was I sanded, this is one of the edges right here. I just sanded right there. And then I just brought the tape back a little bit farther and sprayed it very gently so as to kind of lighten the gradient. So that worked really well on that side. This side was a little bit closer because I got this point, where this side, it doesn't have that point. It has it back there. And the one right here actually doesn't exist. So I just went ahead and I actually kind of did like a hard cut blend thing here. You can't really see it. Oh, there, you can see it on camera there. But you're not going to be looking kind of like that in the car anyways. So there we go. It is so much bluer now. It looks so much better without that rust and the AC sticker that was falling off here. So glad we did that. So now I really just got to remove all this tape around here. Yeah, I know there's silver here. Painting the bumper would be a whole nother project, but we're not going to do that one today. And then just pull this off, pull that off. Oh, there's dust, lots of dust. Let's not get dust all over a fresh paint. And then we also just got to get that guy out. And there we go, look at that. Wow, the engine bay is actually starting to look really good now. So as I said, really the only thing left now is to kind of clean up the wire harnesses and stuff, and I'll do that as I progress along. It's not really that important in the video actually to watch me kind of go along and fix that. The pitch stop area I could paint, but the only issue is right here. That guy's not moving, so that's going to be covered by the intercooler anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. So we're going to leave that there, and then this all is kind of done, subframe's done, so the engine bay is pretty much done. Just got to clean up all the wires, and I will do that off camera. I was kind of going to do it on this video, but it's pretty boring to watch, and there's not much to watch. So there's a little bit of paint on those. I'll clean those up. Clean up the paint on this, and then clean up the paint on this, and that's about it. So there we go. Pretty much as soon as we get the engine ready to go, it can be dropped in, because this was essentially the last thing we had to do on the bay was clean it up. And that's it, because, well, we've deleted the evap, we've repainted the subframe, we've repainted the frame rails, and we repainted the radiator mount, so it's looking real good. So that is going to be it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and once again, check that out. That looks so much better. It probably looks even better on camera just because it doesn't get all the little subtle differences with the paint. But anyways, that is going to be it. So as always, peace out and stay humble.